In this video, we'll be solving a quadratic equation by completing the square. The problem that I'll be working with is to solve for x by completing the square. X squared plus 10x minus 20 equals 0. Now I'll list the steps for solving a generic ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. I'll list the steps on the left side, and then I'll actually do those steps with this given equation on the right side. So our first step, if a is not equal to 1, divide both sides of the equation by a. Well, you can see here that the coefficient of x squared, which is a, in this case is 1. So this step is not needed or not applicable, and we can move on to step 2. Step 2 is to rewrite the equation so that c is on one side of the equation by itself. So you'll notice here from our quadratic equation in terms of a, b, and c, c is the constant. So we need to move that c to the right of the equation by itself and leave the x terms on the left. So for our problem then, when we move this negative 20 to the right, it becomes a positive 20 over there. So we have x squared plus 10x, and then on the right side then we have a positive 20. Step 2 is to multiply the coefficient of x by 1/2, square this result, and then add this number to both sides of the equation. So our coefficient of x is 10. So we want to multiply the 10 by 1/2, and we'll get 5. And then we want to square that result, and we'll get 25. And then we want to add this number to both sides of the equation. So I'm going to write this equation, x squared plus 10x, and then we want to add 25. That's this 25 right here. We're adding it to the left side, and we have to add it to the right side. Alright. Then our next step is to factor the resulting trinomial as a perfect square. So this trinomial on the left is now a perfect square trinomial, and we can factor it. The number that we write first is the square root of this first term, so that's x. The sign in between, or the operation in between the two terms here, is positive. Whatever the middle term is, that's what that operation is. And then the term that I write here is the square root of this last number. So the square root of 25 is 5. So this is how we factor this perfect square trinomial. Then we want to also combine like terms on the other side of the equation. So we have our equals here. 20 plus 25 is 45. Then our last step is to solve this equation using the square root property. So if I square root both sides, I'll get the squaring and the square rooting are inverse operations, so they undo each other, and I have just x plus 5. When you square root both sides of an equation, you have to put plus or minus on the one side. And then here I have the square root of 45. Now I left some room here in this box because I need to simplify this. Let me go ahead though and subtract 5 from both sides since we are solving for x. If we subtract 5 here, they cancel, and I have x equals. And then this number is irrational. The 5 is rational, so you can't combine those. You're going to have to write them separately. And usually you write this rational number first. So I'll write negative 5 plus or minus square root of 45. 45 has a factor of 9 in it. 9 is a perfect square, so I can simplify this. Copy. And this is the square root of 9 times the square root of 5. So then x is equal to negative 5 plus or minus square root of 9 is 3, and then square root of 5, I have to leave it as square root of 5. So this is my solution for the quadratic equation.